welcome to another Rumination tarot video. I have another pick a card situation going on for you. It is basically I was just really excited that I recently acquired the Salvador Dalí tarot. So yeah, do you want to look at this shiny box that you can hardly read because of reflections and stuff? And maybe get a peek at my phone. Yeah, so it's the Salvador Dalí tarot. It's a deck that he designed in the 1970s. And yeah, it's super gorgeous. Look at this. It's also huge. It's really hard to shuffle. But it's got, I think it's upside down. It's got really beautiful stuff going on in it. Yeah. So I really wanted to do a reading with that. I didn't get a particular spread. I just decided I was going to draw 4 cards and see what kind of information they gave. It was kind of sort of viewed with past, present, outcome / future and advice, but yeah, it just kind of depended on the particular situation. So for you to pick your group, I shuffled 3 cards from the Wheel of Fortune tarot, a really cool little deck of major arcana cards I got at Meow Wolf in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's just a cool deck of cards that has really interesting affirmations and stuff, which I forgot to include in the readings, but I can type them up into the description if they are helpful for you. They're really nice. Yeah, but basically these were designed by 2 artists, I believe a photographer and maybe a designer, the person who did the imposing of the photos. And they made it for I want to say Burning Man, and they made this huge wheel of doors, life-size real doors. And if you you would spin, if either you walked around and picked a door, or you could spin the whole thing. I can't remember. There's a video about it on their website. But you would pick a door and it would open onto a tarot card this size of a door, and it would give you your advice and information about it. Anyways, so that's just a little bit of fun facts about the deck. So these are the cards that came out for you to pick your group. Group number 1 is the Devil. Dun dun dun. Yeah, we got kind of sort of heavy cards, but good ones. So the Devil is option number 1. For group number 2, we have the Moon. Just gorgeous. And as I am filming this, tomorrow is going to be a full moon. And then the third option we have is Justice. Yeah, look at that stern look of Justice. So yeah, those are your options. It is choose your own adventure, whichever one you feel drawn to for whatever reason. If you want to watch multiple or all of the readings, feel free to do that as well. Yeah, and I will catch you in your reading. There's going to be timestamps to take you to each one in the description box below and in the comment section. See ya on the flip side. Hello, group number 1. This reading is for you if you were drawn to this card, the Devil, or the number 1, whatever way you choose to watch this. You also might have been interested in the other 2 groups because the other options were the Moon and Justice, and both of those cards showed up in this reading, which is kind of cool. Or maybe you watched one of the other groups and backtracked and were like, maybe there's something for me here. Yeah, this one it's taking me a minute to get my head wrapped around. So I'm going to start with talking about the Devil in tarot. So it's usually about contracts and perhaps addictions, anything that you feel bound by the traditional Rider-Waite image is like a devil in the center and then like a woman and a man chained to him. So I think of it as like, you know, contracts you get stuck in or something. And yeah, the devil definitely plays a really significant role in like the fool's journey and our life journey, our lives. So it's not like an all bad thing, but it definitely can relate to. I was reading somewhere that sometimes it shows up when we are too concerned with the material world and we're not as in tune with like the spiritual nature of things or just any other kind of like thing about the world, when we're just too concerned with like the not the here and now, because that can be a good thing, but like material possessions or like, because an addiction is like an attachment. I'd say attachment is a good word for this card, but it's an attachment to substances or things that we think when we think we need something other than ourselves to survive. Yeah, so this might have to do with that. If we're looking at this as like a past, present outcome advice for the situation, it could be that you got the Six of Swords first, and that could mean that you recently or just sometime, anytime in the past, could have been yesterday, 5 minutes ago, or like 10 years ago, you decided to move away from something, like move away from the really like the white waters, the more intense, like strong currents, and move into like calmer waters. So recently, and look, there's like, you can even kind of see like the little boatman and then the butterflies, meaning like you were changing your circumstances. And swords apply to like our minds and thoughts, so it could be just adopting a more healthy way of thinking about things. So that's something that you recently did. It could be that you like moved away from whatever attachment you had. And the card for right now is the Magician, Mr. Salvador Dalí himself, at the table with a melting clock. And yeah, so this is about like the power you have in your immediate circumstance, predicament. So anything that, like, the Magician is like, I always think of, he has each of the suits. He has a cup, a pentacle, a sword, and a wand. Typically, I don't know if this one really does. I mean, yeah, I see a cup. I think it does. And it's like having all of the elements you need, and it's all just about your ability to act and make it happen. So right now, you might be creating a circumstance you like more. You moved away from something else, and now you're like, okay, and what can I make of myself now? This is leading to the Moon, which seems like you might be like, you're gaining the power and the strength to face your like dark side, your shadow self. The Moon is usually about like subconscious things, or our view getting warped by only being able to see by moonlight, not like a full sun. It's kind of dark out. The buildings look different in the moonlight. Like, everything looks just a little bit skewed. And this is usually about a time period when we are having to really look closely at the parts of ourselves that we either reject or deny or we're not aware of. It's like really going into the part of your mind and soul, your heart, like the parts of yourself that you either actively choose to ignore or just have no idea exist. And like even look at how this moon is like staring into this building. It looks like it's like really angry with it and judging it. Like you really need to it's like it looks like a stern parent who's like, I'm so disappointed in you. Like think about what you've done. Like go to your room and think about what you've done, is what that face looks like to me. So that's like the time period you're going to be putting yourself in, or your circumstances are going to be putting you in. It's like, go to your room, have a timeout, think about what you've done, think about the things that you avoid thinking about. Not always the most like fun time, but really vital for living out a healthy, mentally healthy life, I think. The card that showed up in what I'll consider like the advice space is the Queen of Coins in reverse. And so this is giving me a couple of different feelings. So maybe not as advice, but when I see that, maybe you lost a person in your life who was very stable and nurturing to you. And I guess lost anyway, but like I'm kind of getting like a breakup vibe. Like you were in a relationship with somebody, they were very supportive, they were very stable, and it really like felt like a good like home figure. I don't know if that makes sense, but a home figure. Like maybe you lost them and it brought about all of this that you're going through currently. And it's like it was this shock to your system that you needed to try to improve yourself more. So that's one possibility. The other possibility is that this is telling you, it's like a warning to not be attached to your possessions, and maybe the next like step for you is to like a really extreme version of this would be to like sell your possessions and become a monk. That's not really a viable option for a lot of people. So if you're not looking to join a monkhood or a monastery, if you're not looking to do that, this could just be like on a much smaller level. Like get rid of a bag of clothes. If you find yourself being really attached to like material possessions, or you're finding yourself like you're being really stingy with your money, the advice is to like just release that control and that grip on your material possessions. Let yourself like not feel so attached to them. Right now might be a time more of giving, though like this can go either way depending on the kind of person you are and the kind of circumstance you're in. So if you're somebody who generally like hoards or holds on to your wealth, or is like really either hoards emotions, or like anything that you like, if you feel like you cling on to things and have a really hard time letting go of things and a fear of letting go of things, this is telling you to like release things and face that fear and get rid of things, let go of some of your like baggage, be it emotional or material. It could be that advice. Or if you're like a devil, if your addiction is being generous and giving when you don't have anything to give, this card could be telling you, and look, like it even looks like a devil's looking at her. This could be telling you that it's time to hold on to your possessions. Maybe there's a little bit of a warning that you need to be saving up. So I know that's really contradictory, but I feel like hopefully you know yourself well enough to know which direction you would be advised to take. Yeah, and because the bottom of the deck is, the bottom of the deck is justice. It's like this whole process that you're in right now is bringing something to justice, and I feel like it is like the overcoming of a past situation. It feels like this is like just residual, like, here's how I'm going to transition into the next step of this old thing that's been going on. I hope that makes sense. It's not like, I don't feel like you're in the heat of things, if that makes sense. This is just like the leftover reaction to things that have occurred in the past, and it's like the bringing to justice of that situation so that like you can kind of clean the slate and move forward. And it's really sweet that behind that was the Four of Wands. So it's like you're breaking through this so that you can, like, again, this justice, like, situation being leveled out is so that you can move on and find like a more stable happiness. I think that's pretty much all I'm getting. I do really feel like pointing out, like, the blue stands out so much to me. It feels really important. It's almost always the environment, and maybe the whole deck is kind of like that, but it seems worth mentioning that, like, blue might be significant right now. And it might feel like you might feel blue. You might feel like your whole judgment is clouded by, like, the blue lens that you look at things through. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for your reading. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it made any kind of sense, because it didn't feel like it for some reason when I was talking. If not, it happens. Maybe the message is for, like, a very specific person. Who knows? Anyways, I hope you will join me for another video in the future, or check out my past videos if you haven't watched any yet. Yeah, if you like the vibe, maybe give me a little subscribe. I did not mean to rhyme that, but it turned out cute. That's gonna stay. Yeah. Good night, goodbye, good luck. Hello, group number 2, welcome. This is for you if you were drawn to this moon card. So the moon is about our, like, shadow side, shadow self, if you're speaking in Jungian terms. But yeah, it's about things that maybe are a little bit deceiving, because if you imagine, like, looking out onto a street that's only lit by moonlight, your eye can kind of play tricks on you, and you can kind of see things a little bit, because you can see but not the full extent of things. So it also might have to do with, like, confusion, or feeling like you're a little lost or wrapped up in something that you don't fully understand. So maybe that's what your current situation is about. This one is, it feels like very emotionally heavy. The only card that doesn't have a cup is the Three of Wands, and even that, it has like a ship and water involved, so this is all something like extremely emotional. And it looks like you might be retreating, or you have been like in hiding a little bit, or you've removed yourself from people. The past card is being represented by the Three of Cups, which is all about, like, friendship and celebration, merriment. And we've got, like, a kind of like Grecian statue looking setup of friends. So it looks like maybe it's possible this is about friendships, a very close-knit, like, you're a very close-knit group, of 3 perhaps, and used to be like inseparable. And then the 3 of Wands reversed tells me that right now you've either retreated from the friendship or like moved away from it. The 3 of Wands upright is usually about like exploration or expansion, like the next step in a plan. I always think of it as like you're planning your route. You've decided you're going to do something and you're like planning the voyage. This shit makes me think. So it could be that you stepped out, and maybe it's reversed because you were moving out of a your desire to move didn't come because it was something that you wanted. It was more like you weren't going toward something, you were running away from something. If that makes sense. So maybe right now you're in the midst of like running away, but not for the right reasons, or getting out of a situation but not for the right reasons. And it could be the right decision to do it, but you haven't fully realized that you are you're doing this to run away. And yeah, it has to do with maybe there was some kind of big success, like celebration, that made you nervous and maybe you have a fear of success, and it brought you into this like emotional state of I need to pull myself back. A fear of feeling good perhaps. And it's saying that this doesn't feel so much like past, present, future, because this kind of just feels like it further explains. Maybe it's all the same, I don't know. This, so Temperance is showing up, and like it could be you trying to control your situation, trying to like tamper, like you tamper with a situation. But temperance is usually about trying to achieve some kind of balance, trying to tweak things just so that you can get them to work smoothly. It's like a melding of your conscious world and your unconscious world, or your physical world and your mental, like cerebral world. So maybe that's what you're doing right now. You took yourself away from a situation, and maybe you were doing it to run away from something, but it just has given you the space and the time to really weigh things out in your mind, and like weigh out, like analyze what you're feeling, I guess. Analyze what you're going through currently. And I think that's a good thing. So again, it's like, it kind of feels like this may have, like, if there were such thing as mistakes, maybe this move was a mistake. This getting away from things was not necessarily the right or best thing you could have done for yourself at the time, but it still led you to this maturation process. That didn't work. But yeah, it gave you this space to, it's like you're still gonna end up fine, because it really did lead you to lessons and a lot of like self-reflection. And it's it's really interesting to me the way that the Temperance is looking at the Four of Cups. It's like she's preparing this water to set up here. We're gonna look at this a little closer. So it's like she's preparing that cup to set there, and there's like this bird guarding it. And once this person can like pick themselves up. Like, this person looks so distressed. Maybe like you're thinking yourself and like energy balancing yourself into this like exhaustion and frustration, but there is going to be this like really full, bountiful cup that's within your reach. And like I feel like your world is already starting to try and kind of like hint you to it. Like that hand is about to tap them on the head and be like, hey, I've got something for you if you're ready for it. Right now it's like sometimes this card is about boredom, but this looks like somebody who's just really exhausted themselves. Like maybe that friendship or whatever this like relational, emotional situation right here was, it could have been extremely taxing, and like the reason you had to retreat was because maybe it was like a group of friends that you like would go out every night, or you would like party a little too hard. Maybe not all the time, but it happened like more frequently than you felt comfortable with, and it made you like need to really like retreat. So it's like that kind of friendship, if like in this kind of celebration, this sort of energy, when lived in for too long, can like lead you to this exhaustion. But I don't know, I like the tree is really intriguing to me right now. And this like kind of, it almost looks like a witch doctor figure, but, or like a bird. I think it's a little bit of a call to keep resting a little longer, and like maybe this is what you need right now, but I think it's also really wants you to know that there is something that's like being like this goal that's gonna present itself to you, or that could be a goal, it could be a motivation, it could be like just something that like it's almost like a carrot being dangled for you to go after, but it's actually like a good thing to explore. Maybe it's like preparing you for like new emotional offers. Maybe this is all about like, well, it's just about letting yourself get to a place. Well, and look, this is a good time to tie in the King. Oh, this is really sweet. It's a good time to tie in the King of Cups. So I think of this as like a person who doesn't have control of their emotions, but knows how to like, is like self-aware, is aware of their current emotional state, and knows how to deal with it, and also is like doing well in their relationships. So it's like this is all a process for you to master that emotional relationship part of your life. It's like you went from an extreme so that you could balance things out. And like behind him is the Lovers. So there's gonna be like, this could be about like romantic love, about preparing, like going through the experiences of like being around people to kind of shape what you know you need and want from a relationship, and preparing yourself to be able to accept one is what this feels like it could be about. Or it could be just about integrating like a more balanced form of yourself, because the Lovers can be about just harmony or making a decision. I think it's about like any two entities coming into some sort of union, and it may be more than two entities, but it's just like the combining of two things, that could be like trying to balance partying too much with completely withdrawing from the world entirely, figuring out like a happy medium, when to go hang out with people and when you need to like pull back and rest up and give yourself me time. So it's all just about you're figuring out how to level out your emotions and like have balanced relationships and a balanced like perspective on your life and the way you relate to people. And it feels like I feel like it's kind of just trying to tell you that you're doing what you need to. Like, this is just part of the process. If you're in a super uncomfortable phase, it's just part of what you have to go through to feel more like mature and balanced about these things. And if you're in a really highlight moment, maybe you're like really enjoying this phase still, and you don't necessarily see this coming, like this could be like a warning that could happen if you don't figure out a way to balance things out more for yourself. Or it could just be like, I don't know, it feels like this is just kind of like a nod and like a breakdown. Like, maybe you feel what you're going through, but you haven't sat down and thought about it and broken it down, and this is just a place for you to really reflect on that, because it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of advice or like things you need to avoid or anything. It's like, this is like the tarot reading equivalent of oh my gosh, I completely lost it. It's like the equivalent of you don't make mistakes, because even if you make a mistake, you're going to learn lessons from it. I feel like there's a much like snappier, catchier phrasing for that I cannot recall. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed spending some time ruminating with me, processing these emotions. If you did, I hope you will check out other videos, perhaps subscribe so that you can see future videos. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the reading, and that you'll join us again some other time. Have a good night, good morning, good midday, good lunch, good evening. I think that's what we started with. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome group 3. This is for you if you chose the Justice card. So this could be pertaining to a legal matter, perhaps. It could be about some sort of situation being brought to justice. It is very materially based. We have a lot of pentacles going on. While I was shuffling, this card popped out, and I just saw the two together, and I thought, oh, you're waiting on justice. So the first card is the 7 of Pentacles, and it usually feels very farm-like. There's like a person like waiting for their crops to grow, to go through the like growing process so that they can harvest, yield the goods. And this one kind of has that. It has like the fruits and stuff in this tree, and she's like, she might be sleeping, or she could be like kind of distraught from the waiting, like it's really bringing her stress. And there's also this like spider-like looking thing, or like bat even, like maybe there's like a fear of something getting to the crops before she can. But there's definitely a lot of, in this particular depiction, there's a lot of stress So you're really worried about this happening, and it feels like you're having to wait to some degree for it to come through. And so the very next card is the Nine of Pentacles. And it's like, it kind of feels like you're waiting for something. You're waiting for your crops so that you can sell them, so that you can like make money, so that you can like level up. Like, you want to look baller. Look at that guy. Like, there's something that you really want to make yourself look good for. Like, I'm kind of getting the vibe from this whole layout. It's like you're trying to impress somebody. It feels very much about like trying to get to someone. I don't know why, but so like if we look at it linearly, it's like waiting for something so that you can really like adorn yourself with your wealth, with your success. You really want to present like really well off, so that you can rush in, because I think of like the Knight of Swords as being a very fast, like hasty, like quick to the kill, but it's like you want to ride in. And look, he's fabulous too. Look at this insane pom-pom hat situation, and like he's got the whole horse looking good. Like, you want to show out. You really are like putting together this whole image so that you can rush in. And the next card is the Eight of Cups reversed. So this is usually about walking away from something, about trying to figure out a different way around, a different way to go about your task, or like getting rid of emotional baggage. This is reversed, so it feels like you're going back to something. So instead of running away, you're going back to something. So it's like something from your past like made you want to return to somebody from your past, right? You're trying to wait and do what you need to do to get the wealth you need, or at least the wealth you need to appear like you're doing really well, so that you can run in with communication, run back to somebody with communication. And the bottom of the deck is being represented by the Three of Pentacles, which is a card all about like collaborating with people and working together. This is a really cool design of it too. I haven't looked super, like, I'm still really new to all these cards and they're gorgeous to me. Oh, and look at that. It's like, so the one behind that is the Ten of Pentacles reversed. And it's funny looking. Oh my goodness, it's like getting all the babes, getting a whole band of babes. And it's almost like you have a like you want to work together with somebody, or like you want to get together with somebody, but your like ideal goal is maybe a little bit disturbed or askew. Like what you want to build together is like something about it's a little off, but it doesn't mean it's wrong. I don't know why it feels really funny to me, but, and if we were looking at it as like, I kind of tried, if it felt right, to go like past, present, future, or outcome, and the advice for that. So if we're looking at it that way, again, it's like in the past, waiting, harvest situation. In the present, now you really are like adorning yourself and making yourself beautiful and appear really desirable. You're already there, and you're doing so that you can rush in, like, and jump in. And the advice is maybe go back to something reliable that you know works. Like, if this is a person you're going towards, it doesn't have to be that just is, like, the storyline that makes sense in my head. But whatever this thing is that you're going back to, if you think about, like, the times when it worked really well, use one of those, like, use what you know about the situation to your advantage. This one I would be really curious to hear outcomes, like what happens in the situation for you. So if you're watching this and it resonates and you kind of follow the advice and you get to this point where you are writing in, like, again, we have to appreciate this outfit. We need a moment for that. And it's like, look, you've blossomed into the beautiful, over-the-top butterfly you were always meant to be. I'm proud of you. So if this made sense to you and felt like it really resonated with your situation, feel free, if you feel comfortable, to tell me what's going on in the comments, and if there's any updates to the situation, you can always come back and let me know, because now I'm super curious and nosy. But anyways, I think that's it for the reading. I know it's kind of short, but it made sense. And I will just add, most of the cards feel like the same color, and the one that stands out is this one. Like, this is a little bit white and gray, but it still has the blue that the other cards have. This one is like white with the red, and I don't know, something about it really stands out. So I think it's like, I don't know, this feels very enabling. So it's like, it wants you to, it's kind of encouraging you to do that whenever you feel this, like, desire to go, like, talk to somebody, or like go towards something, go back towards something. It seems to be highlighting, and maybe it's just saying that, like, that's what you're gonna do regardless of what the outcome is. Like, it seems like you already know this is what's gonna happen. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. If you, as I said in an earlier pile, if you enjoyed the vibe, subscribe. And hopefully I will see you in another video. Have a good night and a good day.